down, bro. I just walked in here. Let him breathe, man. Let him breathe.
We'll go first question here in the front and the center on one. Just hold on for the mic.
Hi, Ty. Dave Schrader from WBAY up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We caught up with your high school coach this week, Brad Weber, and one of the things that I noticed from watching you at Oshkosh North and now watching you on the final stage that stands out is the ability to play with calm amidst chaos. Coach Weber was saying that even in the finals, even in the playoffs, you're having conversations all the time. I'm wondering how much staying in your routine, in those conversations with people back home, mean to you as you try to stay grounded in the moment and not let the noise creep in.
Yeah, it's important for me at a time like this to talk to people whose opinions I respect. Coach Weber is one of those, being my high school coach. Coach Prohm is in the back there, my college coach. I've had many conversations with those guys because they've seen me in many different scenarios and situations. And I'm just trying to play the right way. I think, these games can get crazy. And, I think what I've learned from those guys as my coaches and Coach Carlisle, is that people follow, the leader, and that typically is our coaches. When things are going crazy and those guys remain calm, it's easy for us to remain the same way. So I try to look at it in the game that way as well. Just try to, be as relaxed as I can. Because if anybody's looking at me, I want them to feel confident, no matter what. So just trying to play the right way. There's good games, there's bad games, but I hate to say it like this, but it is a child's game, this means the world to me, and I'm really excited to be here, and I love what I do, and I love this game. But I do think it's important that, you don't overreact at any point, just enjoy what you're doing.
Second row here on left.
Ty, what does Obi mean to this group? I know you had to the round the back dish to him to kind of get yourself going. He has the big putback dunk late, but just the growth you've seen from him throughout the years and having him as a teammate.
Yeah, Obi's been so big for us, all year, past 2 years. His energy, and when we traded for him, I had a pretty funny tweet, but I think that he consistently continues to bring pace into the game. That's what he does. When it's not going well and when it is going well, he continues to bring that pace to the game. And he's flying up the floor and you're hitting him ahead. And he did a great job today of making the right play, had a huge tip-in dunk, and those are huge energy plays for this building. And he fits so perfect with what we do. And when we traded for him, I was really excited, not only because of our personal relationship, but because of how well he can help this group. So, he's going to continue to do that. And, he was really big. Our bench was really big tonight as a whole. So we need that consistently. We preach depth. We've talked about it all year. So, our second unit did a great job of being prepared today.
Same row, third seat.
Samson Folk with Basketball She Wrote.
What's up, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yes, sir.
So you had that show on Shai where you forced to travel, and then towards the end of the game, you guys were like a trash compactor, keeping those guys in. How hard is it to set the edge and keep a guy like that bottled up? Like the ball pressure at the level of the screen was incredible.
Yeah, I think with Shai, he's so good. He's so slippery, in between those gaps. It's like he splits screens that you're like, I don't know how he's doing that. And I think in game 2 specifically, if you watch a lot of my coverages, I did a poor job of being at the level. I was back, and then he could come off, and he had so much space. And now he's kind of manipulating me with in and out, or he can just split and throw through. I thought that was something we really had to clean up coming into today. And you're consistently trying to mix things up, because if you give any good player the same look over and over, it can be really tough. So, whatever it is, a show at the level, I just can't be flat. If I'm flat, there's nothing I can do with him coming downhill. So, just consistently trying to grow. And as you know, it never is like always perfect. Sometimes you got to figure it out. And, I think the big thing that makes it easier is when Drew is really blowing through, those screens. And, I think more times than not, he's getting held and having to fight through. And it's the finals. It's physical basketball. But I thought he did a great job of really fighting through. And if I can just hold him for a second, give him more time to get back square, it makes things easier. So just got to do a better job of being at the level, presenting myself as much as I can. Because if I'm back, he's a really tough cover.
On your right, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Benedict Mathurin, 27 points in 22 minutes. I think 5 of those 9 buckets were in the paint. I know there's been so much conversation about getting in the paint. What did he bring to you guys off the bench tonight? And, what did you see as his ability to get downhill?
Yeah, I thought he just did a great job of just playing within what we do so well. He did a great job of coming off handoffs, reading the pocket, rising up for the mid-range. This is a defense that will give that up, analytically, that's not the best shot. But I thought he did a great job of hunting that, getting downhill. And what Ben does at such a high level is get to the free throw line. And in this series, we need to get free throws. We need to get to the paint. And I thought Ben did a great job of that. Our bigs were great, Miles and Obi and Pascal, of setting solid screens to allow us to really get in the pocket and make reads. And I thought he was unbelievable. I thought he did a great job in transition as well, forcing the issue. Getting downhill. So he just made big play after big play. And that's the great thing, about the finals, the great thing about basketball. When you have a team with this much depth, it can be anybody's night. And just so proud of the way that he responded, tonight. And I feel like he's had a great series, honestly. And, that was a big game and huge minutes for us. And it's a guy that we missed heavily last year in our run. And we can consistently talked about it, all year, how important it's going to be, for him to be a part of this playoff run. And you're seeing why that is. So he was a huge reason, for our victory tonight.
Third row on your left.
Hey, Tyrese, Jake Nissy, right here.
Oh.
Jake Nissy from the Daily Mail. There was a point early in the first quarter you guys fell down. I think it was 15-6, quick timeout. What was kind of said during that break, and kind of how does this group keep finding the spirit to keep coming from behind in games?
Yeah, the conversation was like, we got to wake up. I think that was the biggest thing. We had a couple bad turnovers there. We were playing a little antsy. Antsy probably is the right word. But I thought we just did a great job of responding. Like, it's the NBA. 10 points is nothing. 20 points is nothing. No lead is safe. So you just got to put your head down and just one play at a time. That's what it is. One play, one quarter, whatever the case is. Try to, look at it in increments that way, so you can stick with it. So, we didn't start the game the way we wanted to. I thought our first quarter was poor, but our second unit did a great job of giving us energy to start that second quarter. And we just rode that wave, from there. So definitely got to get better starts. The first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes of every quarter are so important, especially in a time like this. So, we weren't good to start the third quarter either. So, watch the film, see where we can get better, continue to improve.
All the way in the back under the camera.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. With due respect to TJ, when he comes in and loses his mind the way that he likes to do, what does that mean? We know it's the impact on the crowd. We see that. What does it mean for the huddle? What does it mean in the room? What does it mean that this is a guy who's still willing to play that way? Like, he's like one of one in a lot of ways. And then obviously he did stuff tonight that's never been done off the bench in a finals game. Just what has he meant top to bottom for this group?
Yeah, I think his energy is unbelievable. You guys know he's definitely a crowd favorite. I joke with him. I call him the Great White Hope. He does a great job of bringing energy in this building, and I think people feed off that. And he had a couple unbelievable steals. I think in the series like this, what's so important is the margins. You got to win in the margins. It's not necessarily who can make the most shots or anything. It's taking care of the ball, rebounding, little things like that. And I thought he does a great job of just giving us energy plays consistently. And getting downhill and operating. Nobody operates on the baseline like that guy, so I thought he did a great job of consistently getting there and just making hustle play after hustle play, and sticking with it. And I thought we did a great job of just feeding off of what he was doing. He's been like a big brother to me since I've gotten here. And, a guy, you look at TJ McConnell and like his story is unbelievable, so, I just enjoy being able to play alongside him, and the energy he gives his teammates and this building is a lot of fun.
Dustin and Howard, last two.
I thought Furphy was the Great White Hope again.
Well,
He took it back.
it's in a slow transition right now.
Right, I
It's
see.
in a slow transition. You see the energy that he gets when he comes in the game, too. Yeah, we got two Great White Hopes currently.
That's true. Okay. You obviously talked in between game 2 and game 3 about the importance of just mixing things up, playing off the pitch a little bit more. Just what did you like about just the way you attacked their defense, the way you were able to get the ball in the paint and get yourself some sort of downhill rhythm in this game?
Yeah, I think we did a great job of just playing off the pitch, off handoffs, screening, all those things. I thought we did a great job of. This is a defense that you can't consistently give them the same look. You know, if you try to hold the ball and call for screens, like they just crawl into you and then they, you know, pack the paint, and it's not easy. You know, it's really tough. That's why they're, you know, such a historical defense. They do such a great job of that. So you got to just continue to give them different looks, you know, as much as you can. So, you know, I thought we did a great job of just playing and continuing to play random basketball. And there's no, against a team like this, there's not really play calls. You know, you just got to play. So, yeah, I thought we did a great job of responding. Now we got to watch the film, you know, see where we can get better. Still room for improvement. You know, we got adjustments to make. They got adjustments to make. But, you know, just got to consistently play, you know, pace after random basketball, and good things happen. So I thought we did a great job of doing that tonight.
Howard, last one.
Howard Beck from The Ringer. Tyrese, you impact the game a lot of different ways, not just scoring, obviously, but when you don't score, there is sometimes some chatter. How cognizant were you of that chatter the last couple of days? Was it a conversation you had with coaches at all? And how do you go about kind of calibrating that balance between the playmaking and scoring in general?
Yeah, I think the commentary is always going to be what it is. You know, most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball? But I think as a group, you know, and watching film myself, seeing where I can get better is important. And, you know, I mean, at a time like this, I'm not really on social media as much. I try to stay off it as much as I can, but, you know, you see it, and, you know, ESPN might be on in my house, and there it is, and, you know, it is what it is. But I think just seeing where I can be better is the most important thing, and having that reflection with myself. I talk a lot, obviously, with my trainer Drew and Coach Carlisle and all those guys, and it's a, you know, constant conversation of seeing where I can get better. There was adjustments that had to be made coming into today for me, and I thought I did a better job at that, and I'll watch film again and see where I can get better. But you know, I think there's going to be ebbs and flows. You know, I'm never going to be, you know, super great and shoot so many shots every game consistently. There's going to be games where I don't. And, you know, I got to be able to find the right balance between the two, you know. But, I mean, I think it's experience is the best way that I can learn from it. So seeing where I could be better is important through the first two games, and just trying to be better today, you know, taking what the defense gives me, trying to play the right way, and watch film, see where I can get better, and be ready to go for game 4. But the commentary is what it is at this point. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we're here in the NBA Finals, 2 wins away from an NBA championship. So, you know, just got to stay with it, put my head down, keep working. And as a group, we just got to keep learning from our mistakes, seeing where we can get better, and take it a day at a time.
Thank you, Tyrese.
Appreciate it, guys.